Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Aquarius October 2018 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is, as far as October goes, the Sun will be in Libra from the 1st until the 23rd, so the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on in-laws, grandchildren, if applicable, higher education, abstract thinking, traveling abroad, expanding horizons, higher education, publishing, and religion. And given that this is Libra energy, this could be done with a lot of balance, being very equitable, fair-minded, dispersing energies evenly, perhaps dispersing energies very evenly in 9th house matters in general. It could be done with a lot of, unfortunately, it could be done with a lot of ambivalence and indecision, given that this is Libra we're talking about. Also weighing a lot of the pros and cons on things, and doing it perhaps with dealing with these matters of focusing with a lot of tact and diplomacy, and especially on perhaps matters with in-laws and grandchildren, maybe even people you know at a religious congregation. So anyway, next thing up is, as far as October goes, the Sun will be in Scorpio from the 23rd until the 31st. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on friends, acquaintances, sorry, not friends, acquaintances, actually career aspirations, ambitions, the dominant parent, which is often the father, also status, standing in the community, social status, your stature in life in general, authority figures. And given that this is going to be, we're talking about Scorpio energy, this could be done with a lot of willful, intractable energy, with a lot of emotional intensity, perhaps probing, but very secretive and very passionate manner, and with a lot of resourcefulness as well, and also a lot of focusing perhaps on going through subterfuge and superficiality, and especially perhaps with matters with the dominant parent, which is often the father, and authority figures. And it could be people that may be connected strongly with your public image and reputation for good and bad, good or bad, and being able to see who's really in there, if somebody really has your best interests as far as that goes, or not. So anyway, next thing up is there will be a new moon in Libra on October 8th. So the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, well, there could be, in some cases, this could be perhaps a new Libra in-law or grandchild at this time. This could be, I mean, if it's a grandchild that's born, of course, at this time, of course, it would be a Libra sun and moon, given that it would be born at the Libra new moon. Now, an in-law can actually perhaps be a Libra sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply be somebody that embodies Libra-like characteristics. It could even be where you might begin or embark on a new Libra-like college course. It could be something with graphic art, design, for example, arbitration, a legal field such as trying to taking a course and becoming a paralegal or an attorney, or anything legal related, a court reporter perhaps. And also this could manifest perhaps in a new period of having a balanced philosophical outlook. And if you're into publishing, you may be, it could be a time where you might begin to publish something Libra related. It could be connected with fairness, justice, even something with the lower back, something connected with chiropractor work, or something, or again, something with the lower back, or it could be something where maybe you just simply collaborate with somebody else on something that's published, because Libra energy could be about doing things in a partnership manner. So anyway, In some cases, this could also be about a new period of a truce or a reconciliation with someone connected in something ninth house related, such as someone you know in a religious congregation or an in-law or a grandchild, perhaps. So anyway, next thing up, there will be a full moon in Taurus on October 8th. I'm sorry, on October 24th. So the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So one way this could manifest, this could be where you may become tired, full, or exasperated at an obstinate, stubborn, even boring or stolid home or family member, someone you may simply feel close to home with. It could be also, too, in some cases, the full moon can be a completion or culmination of something. Given that we're talking about Taurus energy in the fourth house, this could be the completion or culmination, perhaps, of getting to your roots and something associated with ancestry, done with a lot of Taurus-like persistence and tenacity, and perhaps patience and perseverance and much determination. As well. And another way this could pan out, in some cases, I mean, the full moon could be about an unveiling or revelation. This could be about an unveiling or revelation, perhaps, of somebody, perhaps a home or family member, someone you're close to home with that may be rather avaricious or acquisitive or very money hungry, very overly possessive. And also, too, this could be about putting a lot of, this could be perhaps the completion of doing something home related that again required a lot of persistence and really strong Taurus-like determination and persistence and patience and perseverance, perhaps. So anyway, well, the next thing up is there will be the next thing is that Mercury will be in Libra as far as October goes, from the 1st until the 9th. So the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, this can manifest perhaps in having very tactful, diplomatic, peaceful communications with in-laws, with grandchildren, someone you may know at a college, university, or religious congregation, with foreigners. Also, too, this could be a time where you may be weighing a lot of pros and cons and maybe going through a little bit of ambivalence and indecision about ninth house matters, such as maybe choosing perhaps a college, university, or even a college course, matters connected with publishing something. It could be matters pertaining to in-laws, to grandchildren, and even maybe trying to select a place where you might decide to what foreign country you may want to travel to. And again, as I've stated in previous videos, that Mercury can also be about siblings. It's not just about communications. And this could be something where perhaps Libra siblings, they could be Libra, Sun, Moon, Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Libra-like characteristics, can figure more prominently in your philosophical outlook and maybe encourage you more with abstract thinking, maybe helping you more doing things with legal matters at this time. And also, too, Mercury in Libra and the ninth house, this could be a time where you might just take, Libra is about balance. So if you're into, beginning to take, you're at the starting point, perhaps, say, of taking some college courses, you might be trying to aim for some balance and you might decide to take, a course on this, a course on this, and that, and not maybe just try to, it might be more of a balanced, type of education you might be deciding or debating on having. So anyway. Well, the next thing up is Mercury will be in Scorpio as far as October goes, from the 9th until the 31st. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, this could be about having more incisive, deep, even provocative and probing communications, perhaps with the dominant parent, which is often the father, authority figures, people that are prominent in your career, perhaps This could be also really, as I've stated before, that Mercury can also be about siblings. It's not just about communications. This could be where perhaps Scorpio siblings, they could be Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Scorpio-like characteristics, might be more involved in your public image, your reputation, trying to maybe be figured prominently in your career, perhaps at this time. And also, too, looking at this as well, is that you could be thinking deeply at this time about perhaps how you may try to change. Perhaps it could be your public image, it could be your stature in life, your social status at this time. So anyway, hold on a second, people. Sorry about that. Next thing up, Venus will be in Scorpio. And it will be retrograde from like the 6th until the 31st. So again, the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, this could be about rather secretive and private spending, perhaps to improve notoriety, recognition. It could be at this time where you might value power and control and authority in terms of maybe an authority position, or also valuing transformation of a career at this time, and might actually really enjoy it as well. Now, if you are unattached Aquarius, you might connect with a Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply one that embodies Scorpio-like characteristics that could figure prominently in your career, your reputation, public image. They may also, help you in terms of becoming maybe more successful at this time. It could also be about making money, perhaps in some Scorpio-like venue that is tied in to your career. It could be working and doing embalming, or being an embalmer, or working as a coroner, doing something with astrology, the occult, supernatural, forensics, investigation. And also, too, this is a time, too, where you might find, given that this is going to be retrograde for the majority of the month, during that time you might be going back perhaps to maybe a Scorpio relationship, or some Scorpio thing of enjoyment. Perhaps in that thing of enjoyment maybe could be shared with somebody that might be prominent in your career. It could be the dominant parent, which is often the father, or even or it could be some authority figure you may have a rapport with. It could be, Scorpio-like game, something with astrology or mystery, like a CSI board game, or Clue, or doing something with a Ouija board, something with occult, astrology, the supernatural. So anyway, next thing up is Mars will be in Aquarius still. So the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, it could be that you may be finding that the situation maybe with someone you know from your early childhood may be more acrimonious and contentious than usual. It could be with the grandmother. It could be becoming angry over idiosyncratic, unusual, or bizarre behavior from these people. You might find yourself getting into more fights with friends at this time, perhaps over your outlook, or how you're projecting yourself, maybe your outer demeanor. This could be also a time where you might be looking at using a lot of energy and vitality into finding unusual, eclectic ways to change your appearance. It could be also, you might be looking, it might be a lot of sporadic and erratic energy into perhaps trying to make a different first impression. And also, you might be putting a lot of energy into innovation, computers, electronics, aerospace, esoteric subjects, which could be astrology, that people could see very readily, since it is the first house. And you might come across as a little bit more acerbic and acrimonious at this time, and maybe with more spontaneous, unpredictable outbursts, given that this is Aquarius energy. Anyway, Next thing up is Jupiter will be in Scorpio still, so the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now at this time, as I've stated in previous videos, that Jupiter can have, it's really rather, it's strongly benign and benevolent, but it could be paradoxical and could have a tendency to enlarge and expand as well. In some cases, this may very well expand surreptitious and even nefarious, sneaky, manipulative behavior from a dominant parent, somebody prominent in your career, somebody that might be doing something to impact your reputation or public image negatively. This could also be, though, on the positive side, fortuitous for the transformation of a career, or just simply doing something that could be Scorpio related, again, such as embalming or working as a coroner, somebody that may be doing something with the occult, astrology, supernatural, forensics, or locksmith work. And also this could be a time where it could be very positive and auspicious through going beyond subterfuge and superficiality. It could be people, it could be the authority figure, dominant parent, someone that is prominent in your career perhaps. Anyway, and also too, this could be a time where you might adopt a rather profound philosophy in connection with maybe just being successful, and really this could be, for example, such as understanding that it's not just about being successful. It goes deeper and beyond just having more material things or being at a certain position in your career. I mean, which it could be more about the person as well, and being successful as far as that goes, and as far as your inside goes, and who you are, your demeanor, and who you are as a person, as an example. Anyway, next thing up, Saturn will be in Capricorn still, so the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, you might find yourself being more introverted and introspective than usual. Sorrows might be dealt with more in solitude and secretly. It could also be a positive and advantageous period for really discarding the superfluous and what's frivolous, cleaning out that closet, so to speak, eliminating things that might be inhibiting you and holding you back at this time. And also, you might be fearing the unknown a little bit more. A lot of people do that anyway, regardless of transits, but this could really intensify it more. I have this actually in my natal chart. I have Saturn in the 12th house in my natal chart, and it's very, I think it's a very kind of reclusive type placement, very introverted type placement. I know, and I think it really factors in strongly with that with a lot of people, because I have most of my planets below the horizon, but I know, I've seen other people that have charts that have that as well. And they don't have Saturn in the 12th, but they're more outgoing, a lot more outgoing, extroverted than me. And I really believe a lot of that is that Saturn in the 12th house when people have that. Really, in having that treads, it could really make, you couldn't be more introverted at this time and more to yourself. And you might be having difficulty letting others into your life more during this time than usual. But on a positive end, this could manifest perhaps in working laboriously in seclusion. Given it's Capricorn, it could be something government related at this time. So anyway, next thing up is Uranus will be in Taurus still. So the 4th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, this could be about having unusual values with your family. At this time, maybe very unique foundations. This could be about the formulation of maybe some very new money-making idea with one close to home or a family member at this time. And also, Taurus friendships might figure more prominently at this time, maybe in your foundations or in your home and family life at this time. Or it could be Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Taurus-like characteristics. It could be very persistent, loyal, and steadfast friends. And also, this could be a time where you might show a lot of unusual persistence at getting to your roots at this time. So anyway, and also too, I mean, this could be where things at home could be a lot more unpredictable than usual at this time. And also, I mean, Uranus could be about shocks and electricity. So be very careful if you're more assiduous at this time, if you're doing some kind of electrical wiring at your home, or doing something where you're doing some work with wires. So, I mean, make sure you're grounded and wear those gloves or whatever you need to do, because there could be a greater propensity for an electric shock at home at this time than usual. Anyway, hold on a minute, people. Sorry about that. Anyway, next thing up, Neptune will be in Pisces still. So the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, this might be where you may be dealing with more deception and duplicity over monetary matters than usual. You could be more susceptible to some kind of financial deception or fraud. And it might be a time, too, where unfortunately this can manifest in dissipation or dissolving of material possessions and resources at this time. And also be careful at this time where, I mean, in some cases this could be about valuing more drugs or alcohol at this time, more so than usual. And I mean, but at the same time, on a positive note, this could be about perhaps making money through something Neptune-like, such as the metaphysical, which could include astrology, photography, chemistry, doing something with illusion or special effects, poetry, so even dancing, even something that could be Neptune related. So anyway, next thing up, Pluto will be in Capricorn still, so the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, this could be in some cases, I know a lot of you don't want me to say it, but it could be, I mean, the dreaded D word I'm going to talk about. And in some cases, this could be an actual literal death of an aunt or an uncle at this time. This could also be about maybe really we're using power excessively, maybe can be your self-undoing at this time. It could be a time where you might be dealing with very powerful hidden adversaries, but at the same time this could be about the destruction or obliteration of them. I'm not saying killing them, but what I mean is that they, for whatever reason, you're able to, where these enemies, hidden adversaries, might just go away at this time and might be, they might be conquered one way or another. And of course, a lot could depend on the aspects this makes. I mean, let's say if this transit Pluto makes in a sextile or trine to your natal Jupiter, it could be very auspicious for that. But let's say it makes an adverse aspect to Jupiter, then it might not be so lucky, in that it could actually maybe be about maybe having to deal, and might go the other way, and maybe having to deal with more powerful ones at this time. And anyway, when I say adverse aspect, I'm talking, of course, about a square, inconjunct, or opposition. So anyway, also, too, you might be dealing with more upheavals in your private life at this time, more so than usual. You might feel that your own private life might be being obliterated or destroyed at this time, but in some cases it could be about getting your power in your control in your private life. And again, a lot can be predicated on the aspects this makes. If it makes a positive aspect to Jupiter, it could be more about getting more power into your private life and having more control of it. But if it makes an adverse aspect, say to your natal Jupiter, it could go the other way, and it might be where maybe your power is really not there, and really your private life, you might feel, might be obliterated at this time. But remember that Pluto is also about rebirth and regeneration. So if something goes away with Pluto, I mean, it could often be supplanted and replaced later on. So anyway, next thing up is the North Node will be in Leo still. So the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, when we're talking about the North Node in transit, this could be about having to confront or address an issue. And this could be about having perhaps to deal or confront an arrogant, domineering, bombastic, overbearing, perhaps significant other. It could be grandmother. It could even be just someone you're having an important connection with. Could also be, could be a business partner. Now, also, too, this could be about perhaps being directed toward being more magnanimous and generous with others in general, and being perhaps even more extravagant in seventh house matters such as legal fees at this time, more so than usual. And also, too, and might be your future might be having to be showing more courage and fortitude in legal matters and in dealing with open adversaries at this time, and also getting attention, recognition, being lauded and praised for doing what you do, perhaps for others in general, for a significant other, for a grandmother, and in any way. Well, the next thing up is the Black Moon Lilith will still be in Aquarius at this time, so the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, one way this could manifest is that this could be about having to deal with maybe somebody that's overly idiosyncratic or unusual or bizarre, or I should say idiosyncratic, unusual, bizarre behavior, perhaps from it could be from someone you knew from your early childhood. It might even be yourself expressing these qualities. It could be, too, that in some cases, another way this could manifest is that when we're talking about the Black Moon Lilith, this could be about what could put one in a strong state of fright or trepidation. And it could be maybe just being seen yourself in general as overly orthodox, conventional, or boring, or monotonous. I mean, as Aquarius energy, Aquarius likes to be often seen as more eccentric, unorthodox, and just very unique and different. Now, also, too, another thing that could put you in a strong state of fright or trepidation could be just losing maybe your freedom and independence in yourself, just in general, as far as what you can do. And another way the Black Moon Lilith could manifest is what might become something that really is let out of the bag, so to speak, that comes out, but you didn't want to come out, it coming out of the bag, so to speak, but it does come out anyway. And it could be something just very unusual and bizarre about yourself, or something that happened in your early childhood that you didn't want anyone to know about, or some kind of new beginning that maybe you had started that might be seen as overly bizarre or weird or very unorthodox, something that you really didn't want anybody to know about, that might be seen as overly peculiar. And so anyway, last but not least, Chiron will still be in Pisces, so the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, this could be about, Chiron could be about emotional wounds and sometimes physical suffering. In this case, it could be about dealing with maybe deception and duplicity in monetary matters. It could be succumbing to some kind of financial fraud. People at the place you generate income with might be nebulous and unclear, and you're going through difficulty being that, maybe even being overly passive over possessions and resources, and you're going through some emotional wounds in connection with that, and maybe some strong repercussions. And it could be that something of a monetary nature, your money might be dissipating and dissolving at this time. And it could be just simply about maybe deluding yourself in something of a monetary nature, where you thought you were going to, for example, you thought you were going to make such and such money doing this and that, and it didn't pan out the way you wanted to, or what someone told you it was going to be in terms of the money generated. And also, too, another way this could manifest is that really, in some cases, it could be about valuing maybe something drug or alcohol related. And I mean, a lot of this, of course, could be predicated on the aspects that this makes in your chart. I mean, if it makes a lot of adverse aspects, an example, let's say that this makes, I mean, it makes some very strong negative aspects. I mean, if it makes an adverse aspect to, say, Pluto, I mean, it could be something very destructive. In terms of if you're doing something with, say, if you're doing something with valuing alcohol or drugs, and if it makes an adverse aspect to Venus, though, that could be something. I mean, Venus is about values, so this can maybe even intensify that propensity for that, perhaps. So anyway. Anyway, people, well, last what I want to say is Chiron can also, I mean, Chiron is the wounded healer, so in ways that you may be struggling and suffering in connection with Chiron and Pisces in the second house, well, you may be may be able to help others dealing with comparable problems and situations, and do so with a lot of Pisces, like empathy, compassion, self-sacrifice, and even idealism. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Aquarius October 2018 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be giving you my Pisces October 2018 horoscope forecast. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.